Hello, 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 everybody. Good to see everyone tonight. Good to see y'all. All right, number one, Sue. All right. Girlfriend, you are number one tonight. All right. Hey, BG. Hey, hey, hey to you, girl. Hey to you. And number two, Miss Justice. Much love, PG, and prayers. Much love to you, girl. Much love to you and prayers to you and yours. Much love to everybody in here. Prayer to you and yours. God bless. And number three, PG's little girl. All right. Prayers for Summer Moon, Utah Wells is found, laid to rest. Amen. Absolutely. We are all praying for that. And let's see. Texas Brat, your number four girlfriend. Good to see you, PT. Much love. God bless. Prayers to you and your family. Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Prayers and love. Prayers and love to Miss Norway and prayers and love to the chat. God bless. Hey, girl, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. That takes some time to write out there. Yes, I know the work you put into that one, so God bless. There's my Australia. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you tonight. Good to see you. Absolutely, Brett, I appreciate that. Welcome, everyone. Absolutely. God bless. Deputy Sheriff, good to see you in here tonight. God bless and much love. Let me see. Lady Q, how you doing, sweetie? Good to see you in here. Georgia Wild Child, good to see you. Let me see. I'm trying not to miss nobody. I know I probably will. Forgive me if I do. Hey, Nene, how you doing, sweetie? Suzanne, how you doing? There's Linda. How you doing, sweetie? God bless. Much love. And there's Underwood. How you doing? Good to see you tonight. Good to see you. Lorianne, there you are, girl. There you are. Almost missed you. Summer Moon, Utah Wells. We love you, Summer. Amen. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Hey, Barbara, how you doing? Good to see you. God bless. Good to see you in here tonight. And let me see. 5798. There you are. Good to see you. Oh, me, oh, my. All right. And Bridget, good to see you. Hello, hello, hello to you. God bless. Okay, I think I got almost everybody. 56, you just popped in. Good. Oh, she says you missed me. Girlfriend, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. God bless. Good to see you in here tonight. Good to see you in here. Sorry I missed you. I try to do my best. I try to do my best. Amen. I appreciate that, Miss Justice. Absolutely. Consider becoming a member. Gifting memberships to others. That's a gift that we'll keep giving. Amen. Hey, hello, hello, hello. 030. All right. They be tacking those numbers on the end of y'all. PT gonna start calling you by number. All right. Good to see you in here tonight, girlfriend. God bless. Spread love. There you are, girlfriend. How you doing tonight? Hello, PG, beautiful mod, Summer's Army. Hello, hello to you. Good to see you, Karen. How you doing? Good to see everybody. Miranda, how you doing, sweetie? God bless. Much love to you. All right. I'm gonna have a little do tell, then I'm gonna go through a couple of things, and then I got a video for everybody to listen to. The Do Tell. Do Tell. I don't know if anybody else watched Jinkies last night, but I got some news through the grapevine that they was over there. I guess the Day was over there a picking, actually a picking at Ronald, right? Some reason she's got. She's always had issues with Ronald. Always had issues with Ronald. Some reason, she has some type of issues with him. I think the only reason she liked him is because he was from over here, right? He was from over here. He's one of our mods. And he stops in here from time to time. But actually Ronald goes everywhere, right? Ronald goes everywhere. And that's absolutely okay. Ronald's a really good guy. And some reason Day keeps calling me his mama. I'd be proud to have Ronald as a son. Absolutely. I'd be absolutely proud. I'd be proud. My sons turn out like Ronald. I'd be absolutely a proud mother. And I'm sure his real mother and dad is very proud of him. I'm very proud of Ronald. I know Ronald personally. Yes, I do. And very, very nice person. Very nice person. Very kind person. I tell you, he's no saint. Ronald's no saint, but he's a saint compared to those people, right? He's a saint compared to them. And I would be very proud, if he was my boy, I'd be very proud, but he's not. But, I do know him. I know his parents. Very, very kind, very caring, very loving people. Very well to do. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. They're very well to do. I mean, they got way more than PG will ever have. But, very fine people. But Day has kind of stayed on Ronald for a long time, right? Always trying to say he was my son. And last night she was, throwing me into the mix of everything. Matter of fact, at one point she called out, I thought Ronald was PG for a while. And like, what? Really? I don't think so, right? Ronald's in here, he's over there, I'm up here on the panel. I mean, trust me, I can multitask, you guys, but not that damn good, right? Not that good. I don't think anybody can multitask that good. But anyhow, I guess Ryan Finds Truth got into the mix of it as well, I seen that. And he decided to leave early because he was actually, Ronald was winning, right? He was winning, and Ryan don't like to lose. But he got himself in the mix of it. I don't know what Ronald has to do with Ryan Finds Truth, right? But I guess Ryan Finds Truth is, isn't as good as he goes around trying to portray himself to be, right? He's quite, an a-hole, if you ask me. But, yeah, Ronald handled himself which I knew. I knew he would, but you know, um, and Ryan Finds Truth started it. He started it, right? I mean, from what I seen, Ronald was, just visiting up with Day Day and Jinx as he usually does, and um, you know how they are, you guys. You guys, I'm sure you've seen it from time to time, you know, and and I don't know why Ryan decided to, you know, involve himself in all of that, but but I also don't know why Day Day continues to, try to pick at PG. I mean, this last night ain't the first time. I mean, like, almost every single time, like the other night, you know, um, I don't even think Ronald was showing up. And she was like, I popped in to, I was going to give my condolences, you know, for Christine, right? Because I knew, she's from that channel, and it was really sad what happened and so forth. And I thought, sometimes you gotta let bygones be bygones, and and show some respect, um, regardless how hard it is. You're supposed to be the bigger person. And anyway, I was going to, give some respect and wish Christine's family, well, and so forth and so on, my condolences. And anyhow, I just barely popped in, and all I hear is, PG this and PG that, and and just horrible stuff, horrible stuff from these people's mouths. And Day Day hollering, "Where's Ronald? I haven't seen Ronald. He's probably over there at his mommy's." What the hell? Right? What the hell? And what was last night about? Why bring PG into it? Why bring me into your cesspool of pure evilness on either one of those channels, right? On Day Days or Jinx, it don't matter. Why try to pull me in to that cesspool? Why pick at me all the time? What's this woman's obsession with PG? What is her problem with PG? For one, if I remember right, she came up on this panel acting like a fake ass friend, and then started up her own channel and came at me sideways when I didn't even know her. I didn't know who she was. I didn't care who she was, right? She said she was going to start a channel. I was all for it. I'm like, these kids out here, these missing kids need all the folks they can get out here, advocating for them. They need all the people they could get out here to advocate for them. There's not enough of us advocating. There should be more. I wish there was more. I try to be God-fearing, upstanding, righteous citizen in this world, and I try to do everything with kindness, caring, and love. But some people, man, you're casting your pearls before swines, right? These people are, they're a bunch of Judases. And what, what are you supposed to do with these type of people? What are you supposed to do with them? I don't even know. But I'm going to tell you, Day Day, because I know you're in the bushes listening. Probably your sister's head's in there with it. But I'm going to tell you both. Just keep my name out your face. Keep your name out of your face. Don't even talk about me. Don't even talk about me. Ronald is his own person. He's his own person, and if you guys like him and you want him around, great, right? If you don't like him, then, then let him know, and I'm sure he'll be on his way. But keep my name up out of your face. I don't even think about you. I don't even think about you. Period. You're not even a thing to me. And I'm going to be honest, I love all humans. I really do. I love all people. I pray for all people. But I don't like these two. If that makes any sense. I love them, but I don't like them because they're mean and they're evil. And they have gave me nothing but trouble since I've been out here for 4 years. And they still can't, they still can't get the bad taste off of their freaking lips when it comes to talking evil about me. I don't think God's going to like you very much. Day, Jinx. I don't think God's going to like y'all very much when you came sideways at PG first. And you've been coming at me ever since. And I'm going to tell you, you're just not worth my time and effort anymore. You're not worth my time. You're not worth my effort. I'm not going to waste any more of my breath on you. I don't care if I hear you talk about me. I don't hear you talk about me because you're talking about your best. And I know that. I don't know if you got some kind of obsession with PG. That's creepy. That's weird. It's creepy and it's weird. And just leave me alone. That's what I'm going to ask you to do. Leave me alone. I don't want nothing else to do with y'all. Keep your evil words, your evil lips on your evil channels. And don't talk about me no more. Because I'm going to tell you exactly what Jesus will tell a lot of people. I don't know you. And I don't want to know you. I know I don't want to know you. That's what I know about you, is I don't want to know you. There you go. Don't speak to me no more. Don't speak about me no more. Just saying. I'm tired of it, y'all. I put up with this crap for 4 years out here. 4 years. And I'm tired of, all of these different, channels. I've had about everybody come at me sideways. I can't think of anybody that hasn't. And I haven't done nothing to nobody. Except, try to find these missing kids and try to help do what's righteous in the sight of God for the victims. I haven't ever been for no suspects. I haven't, ever, turned my back on any of these missing children. I've done all I could do for these missing kids. Still doing all I can do for them. And I haven't done nothing except came at sideways by, so many haters. And I'm tired of it. After a while, you just get tired of it. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do from this day forward. I don't know. I don't care who talks about PG. I don't care what they say about PG. Because they're talking about their best. And I know it. When they're talking about me, they're talking about their best. And I'm going to tell you what, from now on, I'm going to do what God tells me to do. I'm going to ignore it. And I'm going to let God handle it. I'm going to stay silent and let God do his own work. I'm not going to get in the middle of God and these haters. I'm going to let God handle them himself. That's what I did before I ever came here. And that's what I'm going to do now. Because God can handle them a lot better than PG can. And all I'm doing, when I was standing against these people, the only thing I was doing, two wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. And I'm not going to be doing wrong no more because these people ain't right. I'm going to leave them to God as I would in my, in my private life that I live behind all of this. That's what I'm going to start doing. So, excuse if you guys think I'm not, taking up for myself. I'm just going to let you know now. I don't have to. God will. And I've always known that. And that's how I should have been from day one. Right? That's how I should have been from day one. But I thought that if I showed them people, how it feels to be done like they're doing other people, like they were doing us, they would stop. And all of that, all of the work to try to show them something was in vain. I just wasted, time and effort and everything else on humans that, are blind. They're blind. They don't see. They don't see how evil they are. They're just evil. And I'm, I wash my hands of it, and I've tapped the dust off of my feet, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. That's what I'm going to continue to do. So, yeah. You just got a steel-toe boot. Probably Andrew. But backstage, whoever you was, you just got the steel-toe boot. So, you will be getting that. You will still be getting that if you come over here. You come over here. I'm not going to come and play on no devil's playgrounds. But you come over here on God's dance floor and you'll get a steel-toe boot. And that's the truth. Don't come over here causing issues, because you will get a steel-toe boot. That's all I got to say. You want to go sideways somewhere else. Don't bring it here. It will not be tolerated. I'm meek, not weak. I'm kind, caring, and loving. Don't see it as a weakness. Because I'm going to tell you now, there ain't nothing weak about PG. Nothing. You got me bent. I'm just trying to get into the gates of heaven like everybody else, and I've got to do God's will instead of my own in order to get that done. And if those haters ain't prayed before, they need to be praying. They need to be praying that I'm doing God's will instead of my own. They wouldn't want to see my will. Because I take it back to the Old Testament, right? I take it back to the Old Testament. So anyway, I wanted to get that out there. I wanted to just let these people know to stop it. Tired of hearing it. Tired of their BS. Tired of these two women that act like they're old country gals, when they ain't nothing but a drip that got dropped in Harlem, right? A big drip that got dropped in Harlem. There ain't nothing country about them, right? They were not born and raised country. But you don't have to be born and raised country to be a good, upstanding, upright Christian. You don't have to be born country. There's a lot of people that ain't no country. And I'm going to tell you, they're super good people. Those kind of people I like. I like people that, stick with the victim, stay with the victim. got the victims back. They're the voice for the voiceless. I like people who do righteousness where righteousness needs to be done. I don't like people that, turn their backs on missing little children, turn their backs on the victim in order to suck up and kiss up to the suspects, right? I don't like people like that. We ain't here for that. We're not here for that. Nobody is. I don't know who you are in the back, but I'm going to tell you what. I just screenshotted your disgusting name that you came up here under. And I'm sure that, law enforcement would love to see that name you're using. And they'll probably be at your door. You ain't too smart. You're not smart at all. These people are so ignorant, like they ain't got IP addresses, right? How dumb do you get? I don't even know. Anyway, I told you guys the last time I was in here that I was going to bring this as proof, right? Right there it is. He's wrote a little letter to Christina, which was nice. That's nice. I just wanted to take a moment to reach out and, say how sorry I am hearing of, the loss of Christina and so forth and so on. He wrote a nice little, letter to the family. But with heartfelt sympathy. And then he puts Fred and Laura Hill from Ben Hill Road. I thought he's with Ziggy. Shouldn't that have said, with heartfelt sympathy, Fred and Ziggy Hill? Where does him and just Laura come into it? I mean, I could understand if he said, from Fred, Ziggy, from Fred and Ziggy Hill, and then from Laura, and her last name. Because Laura ain't no Hill. Laura is, they wasn't ever married. So why is he putting Laura Hill? For real, Fred? I wonder what Ziggy thinks about that, right? What does Ziggy think about this? Ain't that old dude supposed to be her husband? When they supposed to get married? Ain't he supposed to be living up there with her in her home? Going to the dollar store with her? I think I seen him walk in the dollar store and he was all up inside the dollar store. Right? That's, that's what I was seeing. I mean, damn. For like the past, I know it's been over a year. It's been over a year, maybe a couple years. It's Fred and Ziggy, Fred and Ziggy. Where the hell did Laura come from? Whoa. If I was married up to some guy and he puts, from Fred and Laura Hill from Ben Hill Road. You know what? I'd have been calling a mother freaking, Uber driver for his ass, right? And I told him, I hope you got enough money to get all the way back where you came from. Right? Maybe he is confused. I don't know. Maybe he is confused. I don't know. I don't know where Christina's thing is. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't know where, her stuff is because I didn't take the time to look into it, search it or look into it. This was sent to me. This was sent to me by a very credible person who did find it, looked it up, and found this. Um, you know, they're a very credible person, so I can't. I assume it's real. Did I go looking for that particular site? No, I didn't. You know, I mean, I give condolences to Christine's family, and I know how hard it is to lose a loved one, but you know, um, Christine was one of the day people over there who worked very hard to not only come at me with lies and so forth and so on. She also was behind the scenes causing a lot of people hell and havoc. And, you know, there ain't no excuse. There's no excuse for hurting so many people, with your evilness. And then you don't apologize to none of them. Before you go out of the world, you don't apologize to any of them. Um, it's just not right. It's just not right. I'm a full believer that if you were, you know, a evil, two-faced, backstabbing human being while you were on the face of this earth, then you probably, won when you're gone, right? I really, I'm not willing to lie. I'm not willing to lie just because somebody passed away. There you go. Just because somebody passed away, I'm not willing to lie, right? I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat nothing because I don't have to. I don't have to, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to sit here and say Christine was a good person because I don't believe that. I don't believe she was a good person. I believe that, she caused a lot of people a lot of pain, misery, and hurt. I happen to be one of them. She lied. She said I did things that I didn't do. And when you plant the seed in people's minds that somebody did things they didn't do, then no matter what, I can't get that back out of your mind. When somebody lies to you about me, people say PG did this, PG done that. I can't get that lie out of your mind. Right? I can't. There's nothing I can do once some evil person's planted a seed in your mind. I just got to pray to God and hope that, God let you know and see the truth. Know it's a lie. And, and you will rechannel that back onto the liar and not onto PG. That you'll know what person to dislike and not trust at that point. That's the only thing any human can do. But I think we all know what it's like to be lied on. I think all of us know what it's like for someone to tell a lie on us, right? And the the problems that it can cause. It's not true. God knows it's not true. Maybe a lot of people who truly know you know it's not true. But you know, there's a whole lot of people that don't know it's not true. And you know, that can cause you issues, that can cause you problems. It can cause, you know, people to dislike you for no reason. And it's wrong. And they didn't just, you know, they didn't, I mean, they did me very, very mildly compared to some other people that they done way worse. Like I seen some of them that, you know, they did a lot worse. Like they were handing out a lot of people's information, you know, sending it, hoping that, you know, matter of fact, they sent me a lot of information about people, hoping I would, you know, when they came over here, these were people from their chat, not mine. It was people from their own chat that they turned against. And then they send me the information, hoping if that person came into my chat, that I would use it, you know, against them. But I didn't do that. I didn't do it. Matter of fact, I called them out. I called them out for their evilness. I basically said, hey, there's all of these people, and I named those people. And I called them out for looking these people up and their income up and even their medical issues up. I mean, it was really sinister. It was really freaking sinister that they would do that. And I wouldn't want to be in a chat where somebody is running my name and, you know, getting all my information and behind the scenes, you know, talking about me. Who does that? I'm going to tell you something. I've got 239 people watching right now. And I don't care what your names are. I don't care where you live. I don't care anything. I don't care, you know, if you got a big bank account or a small bank account. I don't care nothing about your personal life, your personal business. It's not my business. Honey, you are safe with me. What I do care about is you're here for the right reason. And that's to help be a voice for the voiceless. That you're here supporting the victims, not suspects. That you're here doing God's will, not the devil's. That you're here for all the right reasons and no wrong reason. That's all I care about. I don't care about nothing else. Not my business. I wouldn't ever do that to another human being. I think it's cruel. It's cruel. It's inhuman. You don't, you know, you don't sit up here on a panel, weaponize yourself against the people in your chat supporting, you know, the victims, which are little children needing to be found, brought home, and justice served. Why would you do that? Why would you even do something like that? I don't even know. I don't know, you guys. But I'm going to tell you what, I ain't got time. I ain't got time to be doing it. And if I had time, I still wouldn't do it. Because I'm going to tell you what, I know God's watching me. And I know God knows it's none of my business. Your business is not my business, no more than my business is your business. We are all here for one reason, and that is for these missing children and to support them in being found. That's what we're here for. We're here because groups of people, there's power in numbers. There's power in numbers, and we can get a lot done for these missing kids by being numbered up the way we are. And that's what we do here. And if these, and any creator that's not doing that, any creator that's not here for the right reasons, well, they shouldn't be out here at all. If you're going to be out here to find out everything about everybody else so you can arm yourself up with a whole lot of stuff that ain't your business, and in case they upset you or something, you're going to be able to give it to them. Why would you want to do that? I'm going to tell you something. If somebody does something that PG doesn't like, I just walk away. That's it. I just walk away. It's like I wash my hands of it and walk away. I don't have to do nothing to that person. Just leave them alone. Just leave them alone. Don't do nothing. They weren't part of your life before. They don't have to be part of your life now. You got to understand that, some people are brought into your life, for a season. Some people are brought into your life to stay. You just got to understand, if somebody upsets you that much, then you just, they were there for a season. They were there to teach you something. Try to figure out the lesson that God had when he sent them and walk away. Don't be being so horrible to them, right? But that's what they did. That's what they did. And and God knows I'm telling the truth. God knows I'm telling the truth. Like I said, I came out on them. Let the people in their chat know, all the ugly stuff. I mean, I could have read off a lot. And Christine was the one. She was the one, running all these people, giving Day all the data back. And boy, did Day have a lot of data. And they act like they're good friends with these people, and get to know all their business. If you ever took note, Day don't like to talk a whole lot about her business. She don't like to talk about Billie G and all the places she's from, and and all the kids and how her kids. No, she don't want to talk about that. She'll talk a little bit, a little bit about this or a little bit about that when it comes to herself. But she really don't want to talk a whole lot, about her. She wants to, she's one of those people that wants to know everything about you. She wants to know all your business, everything about you, so that, if anything, all the corruption and everything, in case anything goes wrong, she's able to, come back at you. That's who and what they are. I don't like people like that, right? Don't like it. Don't care for it. Yeah, I mean, they just turned on, what's that woman's name? Dame. That Dame lady that was giving Day tons and tons and tons of money. They turned on her. And Sherry, man, I think Sherry, almost cleaned out the bank giving it to them women. And they turned on her, right? They turned on her. Treat her horribly. I won't do that. When Sherry first started coming over here from over Day's, being sarcastic with me, getting so all sarcastic. You guys seen her. You know how she was. You know, trying to, you know, score some brownie points with Day Day and them by coming over here trying to belittle PG, you know, when it came to religion or education or whatever, you know. And you know, I told I told, you know, Sherry, don't underestimate my intelligence level. I know exactly what you're doing. I don't, you know, as another one. I love her, but I didn't like her. I didn't like her, right? And I didn't have a problem. I don't want people's money. I want their love, kindness, and respect. That's what I want. I just want their love, their kindness, and their respect. I don't want nothing else from nobody. I just want people to be honest and trustworthy. I don't ask nothing else from anyone. I just want people to be for these missing kids, do what's righteous in the sight of God, stay on the right path, win your white robe. I've always, you know, I've always said that. I've always been a good person out here. At least I think I have. At least I think I have. But I'm just tired. I'm tired of all the hate, you know, coming my way. I think people need to work together. If you're going to be out here in a true kind community, you need to work together and find these missing kids and stop. And they need to stop the BS, right? Just stop the BS. We're supposed to be for one another, not against one another out here. And if you can't love one another and get along with one another, then, you know, then just stay, you know, just stay away from that person. If you can't work with the Creator to you know, do what's righteous in the sight of God for these kids, then work by yourself and keep your mouth shut about other folks, right? You don't have to stir the pot and start the drama. And I feel that's what they're doing right now. You know, they're stirring the pot. Well, you're gonna be staring for a long time and you're gonna lick the spoon. Because I'm done with it. Like I said, after tonight, I'm done. You will stare and you will lick that spoon till kingdom come. Because I will not address you ever again. You will not be a thought in my mind ever again. Period. That's it. Absolutely. That's how I feel, Bridget. That's how I feel. So, you know, I'm so done. I work too hard. I work too hard to put up with the BS, you know, and I'm not going to any longer. But right there it is. You know, I don't know why. I don't know why, you know, I wouldn't even bring this out. I wouldn't even brought this out tonight. But it bothers me. And I'll tell you why it bothers me. Because I'm educated enough to know that, you know, I feel this has something to do with Summer's case and Cotton Simpson. I think what I'm saying is I think there is a motive. I believe there's a motive for this saying Fred and Laura Hill. I think there's a motive behind this. And I think it's to, you know, I think Fred feels he's losing grips with Laura and that, you know, and she may spill some beans that he don't want spilled about a couple cases that could get a lot of people put in prison. That's just my opinion. I mean, if it wasn't for, you know, me feeling that this has got some motive behind it, I wouldn't have brought it out, right? It's a private conversation, and if it had Fred and Ziggy Hill, I wouldn't even have brought it out here because, you know, that's their business. I don't care. But when I think something's got motive that has to do with Summer's case, with Cotton Simpson's case, which I think also, relates back to Summer's case, then I got a problem with it. I think Fred Hill wrote this. I think Fred wrote it, to be honest. That's my opinion. Or he gave Laura the okay to write it. You know. But I'm going to tell you, if if my, you know, if my husband done some stuff like this, right? Like I said, they'd be an Uber pulling up to take his ass back to where he came from. We're done. We're just so done. Right? You weren't, I mean, this woman's name wasn't even heel. And all of a sudden you're making her, making her a heel. I don't think so. The only pizza shop I ever knew the wells to be going to was the dollar store pizza shop. Picking up dollar pizzas and feeding those kids every day. I think one time they had like real pizza from a pizza place when Allison was up there. When Allison was up there, with the money and ordering up pizzas for everybody, they were having real pizza. Well, Ziggy better go look. She better go look because it's not fake. It's real. This is real stuff. So I mean, real stuff right there. But I think he's got a motive. I think he's got a motive, to keep Laura's hope up and her mouth shut. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel that's the motive. I think the reason he did this was to keep Laura's hopes up and her mouth shut. That's just my opinion. Actually, Find Summer Wells, Tim Mullins and Robin Lane. Tim and Robin Lane run that channel. Between them two, they run that. Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. Absolutely, Stephanie. Absolutely. It can. It can. Yeah. It's Tim. Tim and I've seen Robin Lane on there running it as well from the church. I've seen both of them. Both of them has their hands in it. Right? I also wanted to go over this tonight before I played the video because the video I got is like it's really long. It's really long. It's Laura telling all kinds of stuff about Fred Hill, all kinds of things about Fred Hill. Oh, is this the ladder rack? Since Jody Sue wants to run her mouth, let's talk. Receipts. That little picture you uploaded, yeah. Funny how it circles right back around to who's sitting in jail right now. Good old Willie Slayer. Willie Slayer, whoa. Funny how that also connects back to the car behind Summer. You put it out. Now there was a red car, like a red vehicle, I believe, behind the vehicle that day. It was, or maybe it was a tote lid. We thought it was a vehicle and it was a tote lid. You put it out there yourself, and that's when the connection was made. All right, no video, no speculation. Um, just plain receipts. But hey, keep talking because every time you do, you leave breadcrumbs you probably wish you hadn't. Even when no one was talking about you, here you are talking like um, you're at gusto or whatever there um, of Summer's case. Um, well, I don't know if Jody Sue, thinks she's the Gustivo of Summer's case, right? I don't think she thinks she's that. I think that Jody Sue just seen an open door off of Ben Hill Road. I think she saw an open door, um, to full attention. I think she saw an open door, to many things. Um, Especially, to Andy and staying into Andy's life, whether he wants her there or not. I think she saw an open door to many different things that, she wanted at the time. Do I think that Jody Sue really cares if Summer's found or not? No, I don't think she cares if Summer's found or not. Matter of fact, I think, in my opinion, Jody Sue helped cover up. That's my opinion. I think she helped cover up what happened to Summer. I think Jody Sue fully knows what the hell happened to Summer Moon, Utah Wells. I think Andy Bernard knows. I think, I believe Fred Hill knows, and I believe that Laura knows, and I believe Don, Candace, and Grandis knows. Chad Arnold knows. I got suspicion that even Marlena knows more than she's saying. That's just my opinion, you know. Um, so no, I don't think why would they care about Summer missing if they all covered it up, right? Make sense. That none of them care. This is a group of people who are keeping each other strong to keep Summer from being found. From Summer from the boys getting closure, from, this little girl getting her own place, her own resting place. And there's a lot of them keeping their mouths, shut too, because out of fear. Out of fear. A lot of people, has been taken out around this case. And, so there's a lot of reasons, right? A lot of reasons. These people are inside this case, and a lot of reasons why some of them ain't, right? It just is what it is. But anyway, they're talking about this man right here. And they're talking about this. Well, that yellow vehicle right there, Jody Sue didn't even have it before Summer went missing. She got that after. That's a vehicle like Dudley. It's like Dudley's. And this is where obviously Jody Sue's parents led the trailer. Her trailer must have been taken up there where, her parents are at. And the vehicle back here, though, the green one, the bluish green one back there, that kind of looks like the vehicle that Candace gave off to Kathy the friend, right? That kind of put a 1 in the chat if that looks like the vehicle Candace gave off to Kathy the friend, because that's what it looks like. And I do believe these are ladder racks. I don't know what color the vehicle is these ladder racks are on because we don't get to see that. What we do get to see is, the yellow vehicle and the one back there that looks like Kathy the friend, what Candace had gave Kathy the friend. I got to wonder what the hell that's doing up there. But I thought Kathy the friend had a hand in all of this too, to be honest with you. Um, I'm pretty sure that was her outside that scary, weird place, right? That weird, scary place, some freaking house way out in the country, some big country home. She's standing out in the mother freaking dark, right? There's a pic with her mask over her face and looking all weird, and it sure to hell looked like Kathy the friend out there, where they supposed to be holding some type of, ritual or something, right? Some that woo woo shit. They was doing some woo woo stuff out there, supposedly. Um, that's Willie Slater right there. That's old Willie. That's old Willie right there. Um, in the picture. Well, Willie's in jail. Willie's in jail. He's just, he's like Fred Hill. He's like, Don and Candace and Grandis. He's just, he's like the rest of those people. He's like Chad Arnold and old Jimmy Long and Marlena's and just another one of the another one of the groupies that hang around and everybody knows everybody, right? So that's who he is. Um, Hell, all I know, he could be Jody Sue's papa. Could be Jody Sue's daddy right there for all I know, right? Old Willie might be Jody Sue's daddy. I don't know. Oh, I'm sure he's been questioned. I think everybody down there's been questioned. They ain't none of them gonna be talking though, unless it's in circles like Fred Hill does, right? Freddie boy, he talks in circles, baby. There he is. There's a good look at him. I mean, he's nothing to get excited about, right? He ain't nothing to get all excited about. I mean, hell to the no. I ain't seen nothing down there. I ain't seen nothing down there worth getting excited about if you ask me. Right? Like, whoa. Um, you know, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not big on, Appalachian men for sure. You know, they be looking scary as hell. Appalachian men, uh, you know, they're real good looking. They're real good. A lot of them's real good looking when they're, teenagers, young adults. But man, I'm telling you, before they even hit middle age, they look like they 90, right? They look like they're 90 years old. Um, you know, they they get bent over. They get bent over like a twig, and you know, look like, I don't know. I could go on, but I'm not going to. They just, like, you see them one day, young, strong, and healthy and handsome, and the next day it's like, the next day they're all hunched over and their head cocked up at you and their eyes look hollow, and um they ain't got no freaking teeth, and their mouth sunk in, and it's like, whoa, what the hell is that, right? You're like, Willie, hey Willie, is that you? Is that you, man? Oh my gosh. You know, and when it's like, yeah, it's me, and you're already, feet don't fail you now, and you're already, running down the damn road, right? You're already running down the damn road fast as you can, hoping that you run into somebody somewhere, because you got to, you got to see civilization soon, because if you don't, you're going to think whatever you just saw still behind you, and that can't be Willie, right? That can't be Willie. Um, and That's just how it is, That's how it is. It's some scary stuff. It's scary stuff. I don't know what causes it. I don't know what. Maybe, maybe it's the hula hoop. Maybe it's the hula hoop effect. You know, Down there, everybody knows everybody. Like what I'm saying is, uncles, uncles, marrying. You got mother freaking uncles marrying nieces, and first cousins marrying and second cousins marrying, and I don't even know. Like, all these mother freakers are not just, of course everybody knows everybody, because every damn body's related. They're all related somehow. Like, they all got the same bloodline, right? Make that make sense. Make that make sense. These people are making their own history book. They're making their own damn history book. You know, it's weird. It's weird. It's like some Hatfield McCoy stuff, right? It's like some Hatfield and McCoy stuff. I mean, it's like these people, if they ain't good enough for their own, they ain't good enough for nobody else. Right? I'm like, what? Yeah. Uh, how weird is that? How weird is that? They have to give their own a test run or something. That's insane. But yeah, and they be looking like it too. They be looking like it too. By the time these mother freakers are 35, 40 years old, they be looking really weird. And and I don't care how bent over they are, or how stuck up their head is, looking up at you, they could probably still run pretty damn fast, right? That's what scares me. They probably still be running fast. Yeah, I watch Andy Griffin. I watch Andy Griffin. That one guy, on Andy Griffin, um, that, lives up in the hills, and he only comes out every so often. I can't remember his name, but he comes running out every so often, and he be looking weird, right? He be looking real weird. But he can skip and jump and hoot and holler, and I mean, his two legs are fast as lightning. It's like, oh my gosh, just imagine if something like that got behind you, right? Just imagine if you're walking down a country road, and all of a sudden you see something like that come out on you. It's like, whoa, yeah, that Ernest T, that's his name, Ernest T. Could you imagine Ernest T come hopping out on you and chasing you off? Lord have mercy. Only thing is, the Andy Griffin Show had it wrong. Ernest T was, standing upright with his head upright. Most of them folks are bent over, and their head sticking up like they got tick neck, and they look like beep beep mother freaking roadrunner coming at you, right? They look like some beep beep roadrunner coming at you, and they ain't got no teeth or nothing. It's like, whoa, this is scary shit. Yeah, I don't hang in places like that. I'm like, hell no. I'm a city girl. I'll stay in the city. All right. I need the bright lights to see that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, Andrew, but you ain't coming up here. Nope. Get out of here, man. Want nothing to do with you either. I rebuke you in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. Be gone. Want nothing to do with you, dude. You just way too sinister for PG. Just be gone. You are one I'm definitely letting God handle, because I don't think anything else could handle you, to be honest with you. And I sure in the hell just wouldn't want to. That's the truth. I'm a big old germaphobe. I can't be handling you. Right? But anyway, I'm going to play out the video of Marlena Crawford real quick. Last time she saw Summer was around Mother's Day.
No, I saw Summer the Tuesday evening that they came and picked her up. That was the last day I seen her, and she went missing the following Tuesday. Was the last time I seen Summer alive and well.
When you was up there cooking for them, did they eat like they were super hungry?
They always ate like they were super hungry, like they were starved all the time.
Did you ever see Candace just giving him frozen pizzas?
Yes, a lot. And drinking gallons and gallons of chocolate milk. Nothing else but chocolate milk. They wasn't allowed, when the chocolate milk was gone, they would scream for more chocolate milk. They wasn't allowed, and hundreds of off-brand soda pop. I mean, them kids, they went through some groceries in a day's time. Because when I kept them up there or whatever, watched them or helped her watch them, you know, I've never denied my kid any food. I've never denied my kid anything to drink, whatever. I always got it for them, whether I was going to get jumped on or not.
Did you ever see, did you ever by any chance see Candace messing around with, I mean, we know Jose, from what Jose said, Candace, you know, confided in him that she was the first one to, you know, that she groomed and was the first one to sleep around with Hunter, which at that particular time was like a 13-year-old boy.
She wasn't, Hunter wasn't the first boy that she slept with underage.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you do hold knowledge.
There was one more, but I'm not going to put his name out there because it ain't fair, because he hasn't came to light.
They want me to ask you, how long was it after Summer went missing? Like a couple of days, week, a month, before Donald came around and told your dad that, you know, that about sacrificing Summer for his sins?
Within 4 days.
It was within 4 days. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to play that 911 call for you, so you can hear that, Marlena, since you haven't heard it. Okay.
Okay. You know, I had to tell her to call 911, right? She wasn't going to report her missing to begin with, right?
Right. This is the 911 call when Summer was hollering, screaming for the help, that Jose had. The whole 911 call was because Jose seen some things in the shower that, you know,
Jose is dead too now, right?
Yes. As soon as they figured out where he was, he ended up dead. Yes.
See, so Jose died. So did Cotton. Cotton got disposed of too.
Cotton died.
I mean, I don't care.
Cotton died. Jose died. Allison died. Leslie died. Another lady died as well that was trying to save a little girl, trying to take it to his grandmother.
So there's not many of us that knows the inside story that's still alive, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, pretty much so. And I'll tell you another thing. She pulls up, she sees Summer coming, you know, with nothing on whatsoever, being thrown out of the shower.
You know
and
that
she doesn't call
911. You know, she also told me in a store one night that Fred Hill is the one that went against me and that she had paperwork and everything for them to take my kid.
What?
She said she had proof that Fred Hill went against me to take my youngin'. It was a plot of getting my youngin' taken away. So wait a minute, was it really Fred Hill? Because me and Fred Hill was on good terms at one time. And it wasn't Fred Hill. It was her and Andy B and Candace and Dawn sucking this
Absolutely.
up and trying to get her taken away from me. And let me just congratulate you all. Y'all did it perfectly. You got her taken away. But you know what? It'll be hell or high water if I don't get her back. What I don't understand is, let's just put this out there. My sister-in-law is a Hawkins County's cop's daughter. Bitch, she was with me the night that you come up and said you had shit on Fred Hill about him plotting against me. Bitch, I got witnesses where we was. Where's your witness at?
Right?
Where's it at there, Jody Sue? Oh, wait, you don't have none. You don't have nobody to cover.
Now, you heard Marlena say that, Marlena say, that Jody Sue came up and told her that Fred Hill was plotting against her. That's true. That that was true, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. Because Fred Hill knew every move Marlena was making. Fred Hill had sight on Marina Crawford and her brother Ricky. He had sight on them. He knew every move they were making. Matter of fact, I suspect he had Laura down there following them. And being and getting with people and asking people, because Laura showed up in a very weird place that Marlena, I haven't ever told no one this, but except law enforcement knows, but I didn't ever bring this out here to you guys. But Laura showed up with a guy at a very weird place that Marlena was stationed at. And this was during the time that we was moving Marlena from place to place, helping her to try to stay safe. And it was very important to move her at the time, because Fred was very much watching. He's clean where Ziggy's at. And he is keeping detailed data on where Marlena and her brother were. And not only that, but there was also Don Wells and Andy Bernard and some of these other people was tracking as well at the time. And so Marlena, I believe Marlena and her brother and her brother's wife was in danger and may still be and might still be. I don't know. It's very possible that they're still in danger. Her brother supposedly, is in jail. I don't know if anyone's bailed him out or not yet. That leaves, Marlena and Ricky's wife, exposed to the elements right now. I don't know exactly who's protecting them at this particular time, but I do feel they need protection. That is so true. I understand that Jimmy Long, which was part of Marlena's group, and Chad Arnold, Jimmy Long, Marlena's brother, his wife, and Marlena's half sister. These people were all, at like a group within themselves. And then you have Donald and Candace and Grandis and Fred and Laura and Andy and Jody Sue. You have, this is another group, another part of a group. And what I'm saying is like they all group up together, but there's like, um, different trees with different thickness, if you understand what I'm saying. You know, some some groups, you know, like for instance, you know, when when I was, you know, for a lot of you will understand what I'm trying to say. When I was in the hood, I had like a big group of people I hung with. Okay. I had like so many, you know, girls and guys and stuff that I hung with and went to the club with and stuff. And then there was like other groups, you know, that we affiliated ourselves with, met up at parties, met up the clubs, met up with, you know, but we weren't thick. We weren't thick with that group of people. We had our own group. And that's kind of how Ben Hill, you know, these groups are in Ben Hill Road. Now, Cotton was of another, he was of another group. He wasn't part of the Ben Hill group. He wasn't part of the Marlena and them's group. He was of another total group of people within itself. He was, you know, more in with, you know, the little hack and like he was thick with like Marlena's dad, little hack, the more, you know, Morlocks, and like little, you know, little Wayne, and then and them. He more associated himself in a different group of people. Um, if you know what I mean. But there was, you know, but all of these groups knew one another. They all affiliated with one another. They were all into the same cesspool of corruption. Okay. And, and they were, you know, they were feeding off of one another for one thing or another. What I'm saying is everybody seen everybody as some type of self gain. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say. So, um, and they was making it work. And they was making it work. So anyhow, you know, you got something I want, I got something you want, you know, um, that's, you know, they were all touching hands, basically. And but they weren't in the same groups. And so like Marlena and these other people are in this other special group. And well, I don't think they're special. They're just, you know, you just got, you know, different sections of Hades, I guess, and you going on. And you had Jimmy Long, you know, some of the people in Marlena's group was giving out some information that obviously the other groups didn't like. It's the Ben Hill Road group didn't like. And then you had Cotton giving out information, you know, and the group that Ben Hill Road don't like either. Now, if you ask me, the Ben Hill Road group is the ones that, you know, feel more superior than the other groups. And they feel that, you know, that they feel they rule. They rule, you know, that they're meaner, they're, you know, more fearful, they're more, you know, dangerous group of people than the other groups. And they put pressure. I think that Cotton had some pressure put on him before he ended up, you know, unalived. I think he did have some pressure put on him before he ended up unalived. And, you know, to keep his mouth shut. And I think that's why he opened his mouth. You know, I don't think he would have told the people he told about what he saw, you know, what he had seen if he wasn't, if he hadn't had some pressure put on him and knew that they might do something, because when somebody comes and puts pressure on you, that's kind of a warning, that's kind of a warning that something may end up happening to you, right? It's like a threat. Basically, it's like a threat. When somebody comes and says, hey, you know, this is circulating, and if you're circulating it, you pretty much better stop. Then that's a warning to you that you better watch your back. You're not safe, and you better tell someone whatever you know in case something does go down with you. And I think that's what happened to Cotton, in my opinion. That's my opinion. And when he showed up, when he went to jail there for a while, the jail kept him safe. It kept him safe, away from all of this. But it was before he went to jail. He had told these people this stuff. Then he ended up in jail. I think he probably would have ended up, unalived sooner had he not went to jail to keep him, breathing a little longer. And that's my opinion. But when he came out of jail, because he's just fresh out of jail, like a day out, and he heads to Fred's house. That was the wrong place to go, right? Wrong place to go. I think he probably thought that, his and Fred's little talk about Summer that Fred was protecting Laura from, right? Laura said he was protecting her when Cotton and Fred had the little talk about Summer. I think Cotton probably thought, he'd been in jail a few months and that's probably, bygones be bygones. But when he showed up at Fred's house with all that cigarettes and all that money and everything, well, that was a double dividend for good old Fred, right? Because I think Cotton wouldn't have been around as long as he was had he not been in prison. So it was, it was like to people, people as evil as Fred Hill. Fred seen it as, like a lottery dropping into his lap, right? I can't believe this. A type thing. And a lottery dropping into his lap, because now he gets two birds with one stone, right? This guy, mouth gets shut, and a pile of money gets, dropped in Fred's lap. That's my opinion. About the whole situation. I do believe that Fred Hill had all to do with what happened to Cotton. That's my opinion as well. I'm not, I'm not Rogersville, Tennessee law enforcement. Absolutely not. I'm not, but I'll tell you what, if I was, and Fred knew exactly what took this man out and it hadn't been released, but he told how this man got took out, I would have arrested his ass. I'd arrested him and I would have charged him. Just saying. Because, nobody else knew, and that would be enough. That would be enough to build a case on and charging with. So, why they didn't, I don't know. No, he shouldn't have went to Fred's, but he did. And Laura said that Cotton was becoming a bugaboo. I said he was becoming a bugaboo, and she said, yeah, not for me, for Fred. She said, for Fred. That's what she told me. And she also said that he better not think he can trust Ziggy, because if he thinks he can trust Ziggy, his ass is going to end up in prison. So, what does that tell you? What, I mean, you know, and in Cotton's case, that's what she was saying. I think law enforcement should get Laura and ask Laura to take a lie detector's test. Fred did threaten her up. He threatened her up because Laura said she has something on her, some kind of charges on her, failure to appear or something. And Fred, told her that he would turn her in to law enforcement if she kept talking to PG, threatened her with jail. And if law enforcement, has that, then they should take her in and, and tell her, if you take a lie detector's test, we'll give you clemency on whatever you've got. We'll clear it and just let you back out. But we want you to take a lie detector's test on, on what you know about Fred Hill. And in Cotton Simpson's case and Summer Wells' case as well. That's my opinion. And I think you'd be surprised. I think you'd be surprised. In my opinion, I think they'd be extraditing Fred back to Tennessee, putting him in jail. If Laura broke and told everything she knows, I think Fred would be getting shipped back to Tennessee real fast in some beautiful bracelets, right? Absolutely beautiful bracelets. If you ask me.
That ass for you, do you? Boyfriend's already put a ring on something else. She's the one that was closer to him. She was the one getting paid off, getting her nails done and everything else, but the money was coming in down there. Marlena didn't receive any. The Lips also said that I wouldn't know what time she went missing. She said that I would not know the phone call that I got from Candace, and the story that I told was not true. The story that I told when you all asked me, she was in the kitchen cooking. That's the story that it was originally that she told me. And
we know that's a lie because Candace doesn't ever cook, right? She don't ever cook unless White Boy and his wife's coming to dinner. Even Benny's like, man, I ain't eating shit up in that place, right? I ain't eating nothing up in that place. I gotta go to a restaurant. I gotta go anywhere, but I ain't sleeping in there and I ain't eating in there. Hell no. That place was way too nasty for Benny. And I'm gonna tell you, Benny is ghetto, man. I'm telling you now. This guy comes from the hood. When you come from the hood, let me tell you something. When you come from the hood, you are poor. You are poor, and I'm going to tell you what. You hang in some houses, you hang in some places that you fall asleep and wake up in some places that are like super ungodly, right? Like, whoa. Shit sticking to the floor, like you're sticking to the floor. Places. It is disgusting. And he wouldn't even eat in that place. He wouldn't sleep or eat there. What does that tell you? But White Boy and his old lady, they go right up there and have din straight out of the cookers that a skunk was, the pet skunk was using. Who does that? That's like, whoa, right? Eating off the same plate that was out in the yard because Candace don't have cookers. She had to wash them up. If she did wash them, I don't know if she washed them. But she had to use them because she didn't have any other pots and pans and stuff. So she had to get the ones out of the yard in order to cook dinner. Man. Whoa, make that make sense.
Somebody said today also that Dawn was 45 minutes away, that he called 911 from his cell phone, and so did she. I don't know if that was the truth or not, but I know that she wasn't going to call the police because she went missing. I told her if she didn't call, I was calling. And that's exactly what I said. And she went missing. She got home at 3:20 that day. Okay. Well, I didn't get a call till 4:30. And she had already been missing in that much of a time. And then they didn't call the police until like 6:30. So there's almost a 2 to 3 hour difference of her being missing. So at this time, they've had time to bury her, get rid of her, and do whatever, like Andy said when he texted Candace and said it's done. They know exactly what it is.
Well, whoa, wait a minute. Let's hear that again. Let's hear that last. I didn't even catch this one, you guys, until now.
Come up and said you had shit on Fred Hill about him plotting against me. Bitch, I got witnesses where we was. Where's your witness at?
Fred was, I'm telling you now, in my opinion, Fred Hill was plotting against Marlena, her brother, and them, against that group, against this group of people, the other group of people. He definitely was plotting. And I'm going to tell you something. He was watching their every single move. And like I said, Laura and this guy shows up at a remote location. I mean, one that no one should have been showing up to when we were moving Marlena around. They show up right out of the blue, right out of the freaking blue, you know, hanging around. And Marlena's like, I don't know what the hell they were doing there. I had no idea what they were doing there, but they were there. They was definitely there. And she's like, you know, I don't know why. But Laura reported back to Fred exactly where Marlena was. So that tells me Fred had Laura tracking to make sure that, you know, that they were at that particular location. He had people tracking them. He had people tracking Marlena and her brother and the girlfriend, but mainly Marlena. And Dom Wells was looping the place where Marlena's mother lives. And because Don and them thought that that's who had the little girl, who had Marlena's daughter, they thought that's where Marlena's daughter was. And at this particular time, they're looping the mother's place on a regular basis. I think looking for the little girl, to be honest with you. That's my opinion. I don't know what these mother freakers were up to. I don't know if they wanted to make sure, you know, I don't know if they was after the little girl and wanting to make sure that, you know, Marlena and her brother and them were somewhere else at the time, you know, at the time they're looping for this child, or if, you know, or if they, you know, planned on doing something, you know, to these people because they knew too much. And you know, and they were still interested, but they were still interested in the kid as well. I don't know exactly what the hell was going on, but I know that Fred was corresponding with Don Wells. He was corresponding with Andy Bernard. He was corresponding with some other people as well, out of Tennessee from where his location was. And Fred has a lot of people to correspond with. Trust and believe me, he's got a shit ton of people to correspond with down there from right where he's sitting, which really makes things dangerous. Right?
Where's it at there, Jody Sue? Oh, wait, you don't have none. You don't have nobody to cover that ass for you, do you? Boyfriend's already put a ring on something else. She's the one that was closer to him. She was the one getting paid off, getting her nails done and everything.
I think Jody Sue was just trying to do Marlena a favor. I think Jody Sue was trying to, give Marlena the heads up. Something's wrong, girl. Use your brain, figure it out, protect your ass, protect your child, protect your family, right? And Marlena just wasn't getting it because, she's too erratic. Marlena, that's why I couldn't have anything else to do with Marlena. She was too erratic for me. She just didn't know, she just didn't know how to be not erratic. She was too far out there. With a she's got a lot of Marlena's got a lot of for one Marlena's spoiled. Marlena's spoiled. She's gotten everything for nothing her whole life, to be honest with you. She uses up daddy and mommy and everyone around her. She sucks up everybody around her for everything she wants. Um, and when everything ain't going her way, she's a real spoilt freaking brat, a real spoilt brat. Uh, she's got this thing in her head, that people are going to live forever or whatever. And, I'm sorry to tell her they're not, right? They're not. And she needs to come down off of her, high fucking horse and start thinking with her brain and learning how to protect herself and the people around her and her child instead of, and just going long headed out there in the fast lane until, she hits the wall, right? Until she hits the wall. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because at that point you can't fix it. You can fix it before you hit that wall, but you can't fix it once you do. And I think Jody Sue, being older, just tried to give her the heads up and everything, and instead of being grateful, she was hateful. She returned hate for kindness, and that's the problem Marlena has. Marlena's one of those people that don't respect, she expects. And, you're not going to go very damn far in this life with that kind of attitude. You better freaking check yourself and start, fine tuning that damn attitude and all of your BS up because, your pretty face and all of the stuff is gone. It's withered away. It's trash now. And, you can't blame nobody for that but yourself because you trashed it out on your own, right? You trashed it out by doing all the things you shouldn't have been doing. So you can't blame nobody else for, for everything that's gone that you once was able to bargain with to for other people to look over you. Now you ass better start looking over yourself because nobody's interested in looking over it. And she needs to come off of her high horse to the freaking ground and start, being respectful and thankful for the people around her who, like Jody Sue, who was actually trying to give her the heads up and save her ass in probably a lot of different ways. So, but that's why I wash my hands on Marlena because I could see who and what she was and how she was. And, I just couldn't deal with it. I mean, she was going sideways at my mods, and the very mods that, was wanting to see her stay safe and the ones helping her to stay safe, she's wanting to go sideways at them. And I'm like, no, you go sideways at anyone in this chat over here, that means you go sideways at me. I stand with everyone here, and you can't, we all are one for these missing children. And none of us are going to be disrespected in any way, form, or how by anybody. And I will see to that. And, you know, Marlena didn't know how to keep the respect on the table. If she would have, you know, she'd have went a lot farther with us. Matter of fact, she'd probably still be getting support from us had she just known how to, you know, how to act and appreciate what everyone was doing for her. But, you know, Fred does, or he did have his sights fully on this girl for some reason. And, you know, law enforcement is in full knowledge of it. Trust and believe that.
Everything else with the money was coming in down there. Marlena didn't receive any. The Lips also said that I wouldn't know what time she went missing. She said that I would not know the phone call that I got from Candace, and the story that I told was not true. The story that I told when you all asked me, she was in the kitchen cooking. That's the story that it was originally that she told me. And somebody said today also that Dawn was 45 minutes away, that he called 911 from his cell phone, and so did she. I don't know if that was the truth or not, but I know that she wasn't going to call the police because she went missing. I told her if she didn't call, I was calling. And that's exactly what I said. And she went missing. She got home at 3:20 that day. Okay. Well, I didn't get a call till 4:30. And she had already been missing in that much of a time. And then they didn't call the police until like 6:30. So there's almost a 2 to 3 hour difference of her being missing. So at this time, they've had time to bury her, get rid of her, and do whatever, like Andy said when he texted Candace and said it's done.
When he texted Candace, said it's done. Okay. So, you know what that tells us? Do you know what that statement tells us? It tells us now that the text from Andy came after 6 o'clock. It came after 6 o'clock. It came after Candace meeting up with Chad Arnold. It came after Candace leaving Ben Hill Road out onto Beach Creek behind Chad Arnold. It came after everything went down and Candace had gotten back to the hill and was, you know, preparing her bullshit of an abduction, gaslighting up the boys, gaslighting the neighbors, gaslighting everybody into believing that she don't know what happened to Summer, when in my opinion, she fully knows what happened to her daughter. And that's when it came in. So Candace may have had to run back to the house before everything was completely finished. And then Andy, you know, let her know that the final touches have been made. Maybe the vault had not been put in yet. Maybe that when Candace left, they were getting ready to put in the vault, and Andy's letting her know the vault, you know, the vault's in, is sealed. Do what you need to do. Right? It's ready. Everything's ready for just the casket to go in. It's done. The vault's in there. It's all covered. That could be it. Right? Marlena talked with Candace before she went down and met up with Chad Arnold. I often thought that Chad didn't want to call Candace himself. I often thought that Chad, you know, had Marlena call Candace, because Marlena's a girl, a woman, had her call Candace around 4:30, telling Candace that, he's down there. Hey, Chad wants you to know he's waiting on you or whatever. And that's how, Candace knew to leave the hill and run down to Fred's and talk things over or pay the money or whatever took place, whatever corresponded, and then followed Chad out of there over to which what I believe was Morrison Cemetery to put Summer down in that particular grave. That's my opinion. I think if we can get someone up there in Morrison Cemetery to use one of those, the ground radar, I think the ground penetration, I think that it would actually, I think it would actually find Summer for sure. Absolutely. But right here, she lets you know that, so she knows when Andy text is done. She knew the time frame. So I'm telling you, all these people are in on it, all of them. I'm going to let you listen to that one more time.
That it was originally that she told me, and somebody said today also that Dawn was 45 at one time. And
No.
it wasn't Fred Hill. It was her and Andy B and Candace and Dawn sucking this up and trying to get her taken away from me. And let me just congratulate you all. Y'all did it perfect. Bitch, she was with me the night that you come up and said you had shit on Fred Hill about him plotting against me. Jody Sue? Oh, wait, you don't have none. You don't have nobody to cover that ass for you, do you? Boyfriend's already put a ring on something else. She's the one that was closer to him. She was the one getting paid off, getting her nails done and everything else with the money was coming in down there. Marlena didn't receive any. The Lips also said that I wouldn't know what time she went missing. She said that I would not know the phone call that I got from Candace, and the story that I told was not true. The story that I told when you all asked me, she was in the kitchen cooking. That's the story that it was originally that she told me. And somebody said today also that Dawn was 45 minutes away, that he called 911 from his cell phone, and so did she. I don't know if that was the truth or not, but I know that she wasn't going to call the police because she went missing. I told her if she didn't call, I was calling. And then that's exactly what I said. And she went missing. She got home at 3:20 that day. Okay. Well, I didn't get a call till 4:30. And she had already been missing in that much of a time. And then they didn't call the police until like 6:30. So there's almost a 2 to 3 hour difference of her being missing. So at this time, they've had time to bury her, get rid of her, and do whatever, like Andy said when he texted Candace and said it's done. They know.
As he texted Candace and said it's done. They had time to do everything, when Andy texted her and said it's done. So she knew it was at the end of everything when that text came in. Bingo. Bingo. And if you're not part of something, how the hell are you going to know when the text came in? How are you going to know it? You're not. Right? You're not going to know. Absolutely. We learn more. The more these people talk, the more we learn how involved they all are in what happened to this poor little girl. And I can't believe that this many people could be so evil. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. God be with all the children surrounding that place. God be with all of them children surrounding Hawkins County. Because I'm going to tell you now, I don't think any of them safe with these people running loose. I just don't think no child's safe with these people running loose. That's terrible. That's terrible. But anyway, I've got more. I've got more of a lot more of Marlena talking about Fred and Andy's and all of these people. There's a whole lot more, but we've ran out of time tonight, you guys. I've ran out of time. I'd like to play more. I'd like to stay longer, but I have to get off of here. I got to be up. Tomorrow's only, Friday, right? We're heading into Friday, and I have to, sad as it is, I got to be up. I've got work and have to run a full day again, as much as I don't want to. Right? None of us do. None of us do. Thank goodness it is Friday though. And maybe I'll be back Saturday night. I'll have the weekend, the weekend free, and can spend more time. But yeah, I won't be in tomorrow. I do observe the 7th, you guys. I observe the 7th. And I think all of you should too. It's a commandment. It is a commandment. Don't let Dom Wells, hollering about a commandment keeper. And don't let him discourage you from keeping God's commandments. God does have 10 commandments, and we're supposed to be keeping them all. And I tell you, if Jesus came tomorrow, you sure wish you kept his commandments today. Right? You gotta be prepared. You have to be prepared. We don't know the day. We don't know the hour. Only God knows. We don't know. It could be any time, and we really need to be prepared, for when the Lord comes. So keep those commandments. Read them, keep them, bind it. Know each one. Like you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, you need to be able to count those 10 commandments on your fingers, just like you would from 1 to 10. And make sure that you bind them. It's just to bind them, right? You're supposed to wear them around your neck and bind them between your fingers. Make sure you keep those commandments, and walk in the righteous way. Do God's will. We all want to do our own will, but we got to do God's will, because his will is the right way. Our way is not. Humans' ways are not the right way. God's ways are. So if you're not on the righteous path, get on the righteous path. Mama PG said so. Mama PG said, get on the righteous path and start walking it. If you're not already walking it, start walking it. Right? You know how we got to do. You know how we got to do. You got to let the haters talk, and we got to do the Jesus Christ walk. Right? On the righteous path. That's why haters hate you, because they see that bright light within you, and it just makes them jealous. And the sad thing is, they could have it too. They could have it too. Right? It's not hard to get. They could have it as well. And I don't know why they don't. But anyway, you guys, keep those prayers going up for Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Keep them going up for Sebastian Rogers, Michael Vaughn, Little Emmanuel. Keep them going up for Jack and Lily Sullivan. So many children out there still missing. And more is getting added to the list. So let's keep those prayers going up and ask God to please bring these babies home. Let us know where they are. Let us get justice on their behalf, so nobody else, we don't have to worry about no other children being hurt, right? And in Emmanuel's case, if they did what was right the first time, well, we wouldn't be doing the second time, in my opinion. We wouldn't have a second time right now if they'd have done what was right the first time with the little girl, right? The little girl we've been seeing. So, keep those prayers going up, you guys, because I know God's listening. From our lips to his ears, through his son, Jesus Christ, he is listening. So keep the prayers going up, and there is power in prayer. So keep them going up for one another too. Absolutely. And no, PG, I'm always praying for you. I love each and every one of you, and I am praying for you. Keep the prayers going up for these missing kids and one another. If you have time, say a little prayer for me. Good night, everybody. God bless, and much, much love.